Good morning and welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel, where we love to talk about shit hitting the fan, things that contribute to that, the way people think, the stupid concepts that they entertain in their minds. Yes, indeed, it's another Monday, and what do we do on Mondays? We get ready for the shit that's coming this week. So let's talk about a few of those things. Well, to start, I want to talk about what happened in France over the weekend. There were some predictions that things could get out of hand between the yellow vests and the police and some of these special operatives the government was going to bring in to control the crowds. I didn't see a whole lot of extremely wild action, but what I did see was pretty interesting. The people there, I saw two distinct groups. I saw older, more articulate, well thought out French people, and I speak a little bit of French, so some of the interviews made a little bit of sense, but for the most part, I was going on body language, facial expression, tone of voice, and they were explaining their positions. And then the other group were the loud, radical, young leftists, and those were the ones that seemed to be engaging the police, at least in the reports I saw. Now, what was interesting was I saw two types of police. I saw standard French riot police. They're not quite armed up and armored as well as American riot police, but they're still in riot gear with shields and batons. And then there was another type of police. They were wearing, get this, tennis shoes, blue jeans, and vests that said police on them. But it was almost like they could tear off those police vests, which were black vests, and join the rioters. It was very interesting. So once again, kind of hard to understand what's going on in France when you don't speak perfect French. But they did have some more protests. It's getting warmer. It's coming, right? There was a lot of smoke grenades being shot. There were rubber bullets being fired. There were things being set on fire. There were pissed off people of all ages. So France is showing a great deal of social unrest. Continuing. They're not going away. And they made it through the winter, which is key to understanding. The winter usually chases people indoors. They protested through the winter. And as the spring warms up, I'm counting on a French spring. The British, they're getting pissed off. The young socialist Brits believe that because they just got another 1 million or 2 million voters that came of age, that they're going to have enough votes to vote down any attempt to Brexit. And Theresa May is trying to kiss everyone's ass. That's their prime minister. Trying to satisfy everybody and nobody and herself and the bankers. And they can't get their fucking act together. The people in Britain are getting pissed off. And the Yellow Vest movement has spread throughout the rest of Europe, and it's waiting for the spring. So they are a powder keg of action. Powder keg. So that is quite interesting. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is thersyndicate.com. It is going to be a directory, a yellow pages for prepper channels, prepper content, and preppers. Right? So we spent some time over the weekend working it out, and it's being developed. The site is up and running. But what we want is prepper channels that have great content listed on there. So if you've got that, go to the rsyndicate.com, and there's an email address. Email Uman with your favorite prepper channels. You could tell them mine too, just to have some fun with them. But tell them your favorite prepper channels. We're going to list, I think, everyone there free. Just list them. List their channel, if they have a BitChute, if they have a web page. We want that site in play, in position, in case there's a YouTube blackout or a shadow banning of epic proportion and scale, or if they blacklist us altogether, pull down our sites. The prepper community The preppers, that's everybody who's a prepper, not just content makers, but preppers, and then soon to be preppers, because when shit starts getting really nasty, we're going to have a whole new slew of people wanting to come here to YouTube, to Patreon, and go, well, where do we learn about this? And if they've got it blacked out, well, guess what? Those people are fucked. But if everyone knows the rsyndicate.com is up, then everyone knows that the rsyndicate.com is where to go to find your favorite preppers, new preps, right? New ideas, new providers, new content makers, etc. That's what the rsyndicate.com is about. It started, right, as a bit of a joke about QAnon. You know, the real truth is at R Syndicate. Well, yeah, the rsyndicate.com is where the real truth is at. It's down home, regular, red-blooded Americans of all ages, shapes, colors, persuasions, and perspectives, putting their opinions out, trying to help everyone else. It's not going to be a competitive website. It's going to be a cooperative website. YouTube content creators, YouTube followers need to quit being selfish bitches and start cooperating with each other. Don't let the divide and conquer mentality of the left hurt us, but rather unite us so that we can go. And that's what the rsyndicate.com is about. It is about going to a place to get information. And I think we're going to probably have a premium members page for premium preppers and content providers who want to contribute to the cost, because this has a cost. And I hate to see good people pay out of their pocket the bill to try and save everyone else's hides. That's just the way it goes. So let's see, talking about saving people's hides, how about Congressman Schiff from California? He wants to subpoena the Mueller team because he wants to see the documents. He can't believe that Trump is getting away with this collusion thing. In other words, they weren't happy with the results. They wanted to destroy Trump. They wanted to have impeachable offenses brought out. And they want the American people to believe, right, that Trump needs to pay for everything, right, for daring to stand up to the left. So God bless Trump for pissing them off, at least to the extent that he has. Of course, I would like to see arrests happen, but that lets us know exactly how powerful the deep state is. That even with someone in there who is opposing them in the office of the President of the United States, even with that kind of clout and power to prosecute, the deep, dark state is so deep, it's so dark, it is so dug in like an Alabama tick that it cannot be removed, right? It's just it's the shits. Then Schiff wants Trump out. He's not satisfied with just fucking stonewalling, so he's crying like a pussy. And what is going on, though? They want to rile up the Democrats. We've got them riled up over in Europe, right? They want people in America, the left wing, the youth, the communists, the Antifa types, the little social fascists. They want them riled up too. They want social tension, politicized social tension in our country. That's why you need to be a prepper. You need to be aware of what they're up to. You need to have a plan to deal with it, whether it's confronting them in defense or whether it's avoiding them in defense. But everyone knows the best defense is a good offense, or at least the ability to go on offense if you're threatened. So being a prepper is food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need help with any of that, including guns, including ammo, including gas masks, including everything we got over at the club, the preparedmind.club. Go there and get prepped up. I think I caught Canadian Prepper, who's a hell of a good guy. He did another video. Get food, right? Everyone is feeling the pressure. Everyone knows it's coming, and it's time for us to cooperate and just tell it like it is. It is time to get prepped up. Shit is looking bad. Last week, the week ended with the Dow dropping 460 points. Earlier in the day, I said it's going to 450 down. It went to 460. When things are bad and they're not being manipulated, I can pretty much call what each fucking day is going to do. There's a lot of great minds out here that are trying to point people in the right direction for prepping, for investing, for bugging out, for bugging in. This community is amazing for that. And you guys here on Patreon, you've been great for supporting us in our efforts, right? To get the information out, to share it, right? And to keep it alive. What you guys do here on Patreon is you pay for the preparedmind.club, and you pay to keep it open, and you're paying to keep the rsyndicate.com. That's going to also be supported by the Prepared Mind channel. And we get things hammered out. The idea is to keep the information flowing. You know, even if it drops down to just text messages or Instagram or Twitter, whatever it takes, we're going to get the information out as long as we can. But speaking of this, right, you're trying to help people. We're trying to help people get prepared, understand what's going on out there. The economy is sliding down. This week, we're going to see what the bond market does. The bond market is key. It is key. I mean, the Dow is key, right? There's so many things that are key, but they can't control the bond market right now. It's going to be interesting to see if they just flood it with QE money or what happens. But people in general, Americans, in fact, world citizens, they know there's a problem, right? But they're not doing anything about it. We're telling them to prep. Some are, many aren't. What we want them to know is, right, you can do something about it. But there is a mentality out there I want everyone to be aware of as preppers. There is a victim mentality among people. They love misery and they love company. People make fun of us going, you guys are a bunch of doom and gloomers. No, we're a bunch of fucking optimists saying we see what's coming, we're doing something about it, and we're going to survive it. That's pretty much fucking optimistic in my book. But they're out there and they're not optimistic. And they're happy to be losers. They're happy to be victims. These are the people that realize there's something wrong and they're not willing to get prepared. Right? We tell them, do something if you've got a 401k. Put it into a hedge style system. Some way, right, through the 401k or private investment system so that you benefit. You're hedged against the market falling. It is possible. It's being done. People need to do it, but they refuse. They refuse to take control of their retirement funds. And there is about to be a huge wealth transfer this year. It's being talked about by the likes of Penco, Hemke, Lee Organs. It's being talked about by everybody who understands what's going on financially. Peter Schiff is trying to get his ass back on CNN, MSNBC, Fox Business. These guys do what they can, but they've been blacklisted too. You know, they have been blacklisted off of mainstream news because they tell the truth. But the fact is that people like being victims. It's not that they're unwitting. They're almost willing, though, because they won't prep and they won't do anything with their retirement. Victim status is more valuable to them because misery loves company. Right? Everyone loves to have their team win the Super Bowl. But everyone who doesn't win the Super Bowl loves to commiserate and talk about how they got screwed out of it and how maybe next time. And if they had just seen things coming. And how many times have you heard somebody say, oh, yeah, I know all about that? And then you go, well, what did you do about it? Well, I didn't do anything. Why not? Why didn't you buy that investment or get out of that investment? Why didn't you go get another job or leave that job that you had that was so bad? Why? Why aren't you doing anything about your health? Why aren't you doing anything about your job, about your family, about the social conditions around you? It's because people want to say things went to shit and I'm a victim of it. Well, when shit hits the fan, it's not going to be quite as cute or fun for them anymore. They're going to blame people. They're going to join that side that says we're victimized, and they're going to look for preppers to point to them, right, and say they're the reason. They knew and they didn't help us. It is astounding to me the amount of people that love being victims, right? They love being victims. If you look at people that are calling for reparations now, they're playing victim off of their ancestors who were enslaved. You know, it is incredible. It's incredible that they would do that, but they want that victim status, right? People that go on talk shows, believe it or not, they'll go on to Oprah and Oprah type shows, Dr. Phil, and tell the world their sorrows, not in an effort to help other people, but so they can bask and bathe in their victim status, right? Their martyr status. I don't want martyr status. Fuck that. I don't want it. I want to be a winner, and so I try hard every day. And I've been talking so much, I've kept my voice in this shit condition because I can't stop wanting to get the word out. You guys, I'm going to rely on you. I'm going to rely on you because I think that's what we're all here for, to get the word out. Tell people, go to theRsyndicate.com. Spread the word about the need for prepping. Do the best you can. And if you can do it on social media so people in your neighborhood, I'm not saying go out in your neighborhood and bang a pot and a pan together and scream at the top of your lungs so all your neighbors know you're a prepper. But do so in ways that you can get the word out. And tell people, don't be a victim, right? Don't end up in a roadside ditch. Wake up and look what's going on around us. Once you just start looking and you put 1 and 1 together and get 2, and you put 2 and 2 together, you get 4. It's easy to figure out what is happening. It is incredibly easy to see what politicians are taking advantage of people. It's easy to see how the government, through law enforcement and the courts, increase their power by stealing from us. It's easy to see how City Hall and the state capitol and D.C. are dividing the people rather than serving the people. But this is the world we're in. It is not Ozzie and Harriet, right? And there's a group of people out here that know about it and have the power and opportunity to do something. And that is you. That is me, right? I'm not telling anyone to expose themselves. I don't want anyone who's uncomfortable being hurt. But for those of us that have a voice and aren't afraid to use it or aren't in a compromised position, I'm in a relatively protected position and I have been attacked. Fucking trust me. I've been attacked professionally, socially, and in many, many ways, personally, and they're trying to stop me. And I'm talking about people of different political and social persuasions. But my answer is, I need to be the man that I am. I need to be the man that I am, and you need to be the man or the woman that you are. Stand up for what you know is right. Try and help people where you can, but get ready for the inevitable. When shit starts unraveling, when the idiots are on the street, when the shit has hit the fan, you can only count on you, right? You can only count on yourself. And I don't know what's going to set it off. I don't know if it's going to be a terror attack, the stock market, political stupidity, right? I don't know if it's going to be a military war that's sparked off by something like the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which didn't happen, or the sinking of the Lusitania, which was a setup, or Pearl Harbor, which was a false flag, right? But that's how wars start, which lead to shit hitting the fan. And when there are economic hard times, governments go to war for resources and to hide the fact that they're responsible for what happened. I went through financial reports all weekend long, and 90% plus were blaming the bond market for the stock market drop. And the stock market drop was blaming the bonds for what happened. And I only saw one report that talked about the lack of position and ability to do anything as being the Federal Reserve, having it being their fault that things are coming apart. I was surprised to find that one article that really pointed to the Federal Reserve and said they're responsible. They are responsible. It's their fucking monetary policy. It's their financial policy. The way they work with banks and real estate and the stock market and the government. In fact, I heard one particular expert say, the market is now the central banking system. It is no longer the economy and businesses and an industry. It is no longer Wall Street in control of itself. It is now the Federal Reserve, the central bank system, running the perception of the economy and flooding Wall Street with cash to keep confidence up. It's all coming apart, though. They can't keep throwing money at it without getting inflation. They can't pull the money out without causing a crash. Nobody wants to buy U.S. bonds because confidence is eroded, right? But people don't want to have equities, so they're buying U.S. bonds even though they have no confidence, because that's normally the safe haven. Ultimately, people will end up in precious metals. It's going to be a fucking shit show this year. So get ready, pull up your hip waders, because it's going to get deep. We all need to be ready. Get prepared, please. Go to the preparedmind.club if you need help with that. Reach out to other people here on Patreon and on other prepper channels. And go to the rsyndicate.com and see where we're at there. See what it is we're trying to do. Because they could just end up blacking us out. They could just kill this channel in a day and say I violated their terms of service. Not just me, but everyone else. But you guys know that I have the preparedmind.club, and it's up as a clearinghouse. And the rsyndicate.com is up, and it'll be a directory. Right? And I'll go get another YouTube channel and link it right here to Patreon. And if that doesn't work, I'll go to Vimeo. And if that doesn't work, I'll go to, the Daily Grind. You know, they're going to have a hard time bringing me down. But you guys know that here on Patreon, unless Patreon takes me down, holy shit, I almost forgot about that. They can do it to us, especially if they want the truth hidden so that they can tell us and spoon feed us their lies and bullshit about what is going on outside their doors. As people hear screaming and yelling and sirens, and they smell fire and smoke. And people go, John, you're just a big fearmonger. It's all fear-mongering until it happens for real. And it's getting closer and closer. Go ahead and ask the people of France who are trying to sit in their homes and drink Pernod and eat some fromage. And they smell tear gas coming through their windows and cracks. They didn't do anything. They don't want all the bullshit, but it's happening. Same way it did in the Ukraine. The same way it's going down right now between Pakistan and India. Right? The same way the New Zealanders minding their own business. Right? I guess peeling kiwi fruit. All of a sudden they're told you don't get to have automatic rifles. You don't get to have sporting rifles. It's one day it's one way, the next it's not. Get prepared now, because chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.